Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
All right, welcome back to Beer Nuts, episode 143. Tonight we are going to taste some food and take some beers and pair a little beer and food pairing episode. So this should be fun. So this is JR out here in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and glad to be back this week. The last beer I checked in on Untapped is Morning Wood Espresso Roast Stout by Oddside Ales, and it was a real dandy, real winner. And we're going to go back to Michigan. The other three beer nuts are all Michigan, so it's going to be a big Michigan show tonight, and a former Michigander
Uncle
here.
Pete
So we're going to go over to Uncle Pete.
Uncle Pete here, Rockwood, Michigan. My last Untapped, well, I don't know if it's the last beer I drank, but I logged 30 beers in one day at a beer fest. So the last
one to tell about it.
Yeah, the last, my liver is still recovering, but the last one I logged in was Hazed and Confused New England IPA by Supernatural Brewing here in Michigan. Very good beer, and it was a very good beer fest.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Let's go to Dearborn next. Greg.
Hey, everybody. Greg in Dearborn here. And my last Untapped check-in was the 2018 Neckbeard Nectar from Transient Artisan Ales out of Bridgman, Michigan. It was beautiful. Stout with chilies and peppers and chocolate and delightful.
Well, even though I'm way out here in Arizona, I also know that you and Dugout, who is going to introduce himself next, got to go to Transient the other day. So
that's right.
That's pretty cool. So Dugout, welcome back.
Thank you. Yep, this is Dugout in Clawson, Michigan. My last Untapped check-in was Calaberger, part of Sun King Brewery's 10-year anniversary collection. And it's a brut IPA that was brewed in collaboration with Austin Beer Works, hence the name Calaberger. It was awesome, by the way.
Nice.
Everything in that pack was really, really good.
All right. Well, so we are going to taste some food and some beer. So before we get started, I'd like to welcome everybody and invite you to all pop open a cold beer and enjoy one with us as you listen to the show. Again, our motto is introducing more good people to more good beer. We're not pretentious beer snobs, most of the time anyway. And so let's just get right into it. I think Uncle Pete's going to lead it off tonight.
Yeah, I had dinner tonight, and now I'm going to have some dessert. And the food pairing I'm coming up with that I'm excited about is a beer I haven't had yet. I've been sitting on it here for a while in the cooler. It's New Holland Brewing Dragon's Milk Reserve Banana Coconut Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout. And to pair that up, I've got a nice cream-filled chocolate eclair. So my sweet tooth is going to be very happy after this whole event.
Go big or go home. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good for my diet. My diet's been going very well, but you got to cheat once in a while, and I'll be the first to come out and say I cheat. So anyways, enough for the honesty. Let's get into this. This beer poured up, not a completely black beer, but as you hold it to the light, you do around the edges get a really nice, some red tones in there, some ruby colors. So there is some more brown and reddish tones to this very dark beer. It didn't retain its head very long. It did foam up, but then within a few seconds it settled down. The aroma is definitely banana and coconut as advertised, and just a very sweet aroma, and with a nice wood barrel aroma mixed in with that. It just smells like a syrup that you're going to want to taste, just like a nectar. So I don't know what to do first. Should I describe the eclair and then bite that and then drink, or do I drink and then bite the eclair?
Double fisting it.
Double fisted, yeah. Dunk. Do the dunk. Okay.
There you go.
So Yeah, I'm gonna first taste the beer, and I can say something about it before I pollute myself here with the Eclair. Oh, that's fantastic. I really like that. I've never been a big fan of like banana candy or banana chips or any of that stuff. But yeah, banana splits, bananas Foster. To me, this being a barrel aged, really in a dragon's milk variant, okay, with dragon's milk base. I mean, it's very sweet. It's very mouth coating, and the banana comes through very strong. The coconut's back there a little bit. I was worried this was going to be like a fake banana flavor, but it really, to me, is not that bad fake banana flavor. Yeah, but it's really good. It's creamy. It's got nice fine bubbles for carbonation. So it makes it kind of velvety in your mouth. It's a good beer. Real good beer. Okay, I'm going to taste the Eclair. Oh boy. Sugar bomb. Wash that down. That's like adding banana and coconut to an already vanilla and chocolate rich pastry. I don't know. There must be a beer out there somewhere that's made from chocolate eclairs. I don't know who does it, but it would be a good idea.
Sounds like, yeah, what is that, Voodoo's Donut series? Rogue? Maybe they
yeah,
would do
that's right.
something like that.
Rogue. It did do the donut beer. So yeah, I think it stands to reason putting up a sweet stout that also has the extra flavor from barrel aging. And this one, in fact, with the banana and coconut, it's a strong 11%, sweet, really tasty dessert kind of beer. To pair that with another dessert to bring in chocolate and vanilla cream, I mean, you're talking about your fantasy of a birthday cake, I think. So really loving it, and I was glad I was able to share it with everybody.
Sounded delicious.
Sounds pretty decadent.
It's decadent, all right.
Well, I do miss my Dragon's Milk variants out here in the West. We don't get quite the diverse releases of those variants. We just recently, I think, started getting regular Dragon's Milk, and I saw a lot of the groups out here. The social media groups were like going bonkers. Oh, it's finally here, and
yeah,
kind of puts things in perspective for those of you back in Michigan, as I used to be, where this is available in the grocery store every day of the week, and you kind of overlook it. But regular good old Dragon's Milk's pretty darn good too. But those variants are really, really cool. And
Doug or Greg, do you know that didn't they just do like a maple variant in the last couple of weeks here?
Yeah, they did.
We were talking about it on the show. I don't think you were with us on that one.
Oh, okay. Yep. Cool. Who's next?
I think we're going to Greg.
All right. Well done there, Pete. Sounded a delicious sounding pairing, and certainly jealous of a donut at this time of the night. But so my beer that I picked for tonight is from Lupulin Brewing Company out of Big Lake, Minnesota. This is their Blissful Ignorance Double IPA, and on the can here it says it's loaded with waves of some of the juiciest hops available: Citra, Mosaic, Columbus. And so it's a hazy beer, but it has a very nice hoppy aroma and flavor, they indicate. So poured in the glass, murky yellow. You can kind of see some shadow in the background through the light, but for the most part, it's pretty cloudy. Very compact white bubble head poured on there, and let's see, did I say? I didn't say the ABV. Looks like it's a 9%er. It's got 70 IBUs. Beautiful looking beer in the glass. Put a smell to it, and you get some nice tropical fruits. You get bitterness to that smell as well, and just smells absolutely delicious. And for the food pairing that I chose to go with it, I've got a slice of extra sharp white cheddar cheese, which I figured, a little bite on the cheese here would pair well with the hot bite. So let's see. We give it a taste here. Oh yeah, more of that citrusy, juicy citrusy stuff to it. But on the very back end, there's a really nice hot bite to it. And let's see how it pairs well with this cheese here. Yep, that's some really good extra sharp cheddar cheese. Another very good pairing. They go really well together. I mean, as soon as I drink that beer and then put a little piece of cheese in my mouth, they just blended really well together. Great pairing. Great beer from Minnesota. I picked this up in a trade with a guy I've been trading with out of Minnesota for a little bit. And yeah, this is really good. Definitely recommend anybody that's looking for IPA pairing is try out some sharp cheddar or something around that line. So very delicious, guys.
All right.
Awesome. From Minnesota.
Yeah.
I do like that combo myself as well. It's very tasty.
Very good.
There are not many food and beer pairings that I don't like.
Yeah. We're not picking.
Sorry. No. But no, there are natural pairings, and I think that's a good natural one as well, in my opinion.
Alrighty then.
I guess that does it for me.
Moving on to Clausen to Dugout.
All right. What I have is from Urban Artifact Brewery out of Cincinnati. And Greg, you turned me on to this beer. It's called Paperweight.
Oh,
It's apricot Midwest fruit tart.
that's so good.
It comes in at 7.7% alcohol and 15 IBUs. And the site lists it, or the can lists it, as 3,000 pounds of apricot per 30-barrel batch, which that's epic.
That's a lot. Yes.
So when you pour it,
It's 100.
it's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount. So you pour this thing, and it looks like fresh squeezed orange juice. It's got a real haziness to it, definite orange color, and the nose on it is pure fruit, pure apricots. You get some kind of you get a tart funkiness from it, sort of a barnyard. So it's kind of a wild ale yeast or at least a sour. It's got just kind of a small little head, some real fine bubbles that dissipate pretty quick. It's pretty tart up front, but then the back end hits you, and it's pure apricot. And if you don't like apricots, you'll hate this beer. But I happen to love apricots.
Yeah, me too.
And this stuff's phenomenal on its own. It's not overly tart or overly sour, so I think the average person could probably handle some of it. Personally, I can't handle a lot of sour beers because they just start to tear my stomach up after a little bit. So one and done on these usually. But we'll see if the food pairing kind of settles things down. So what I have to pair this with is it's from Lindt Chocolate from Switzerland. And these are what we know as Linder Balls. And it's a milk chocolate truffle. So I'm just going to take one more sip, pop this bad boy in my mouth.
As you sip, Doug, did you notice that Holiday Market just got this in Royal Oak?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I picked it up in Toledo earlier in the week.
Yeah, they just got a big shipment today, so they got a bunch of stuff.
But, man, what a great pairing. Chocolate and apricots go great together.
That sounds great. I've got that beer sitting here in my fridge too, and I can't wait to open it up now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's I had the one from Greg, and then I went and looked for it because I knew it was over somewhere in Toledo. I could find it. Sure enough, I found it right away and bought another 4-pack.
So 3,000 pounds for 30 barrels. I'm just trying to break this down. So that's 1,000 pounds for 10 barrels. That's 100 pounds per barrel. That seems like an insane amount of apricots to like, put on.
If there's an
About 100
apricot
pounds
shortage,
is-
we know where to look.
I mean, apricots are kind of dense, and fully laden, juicy fruit. So, yeah, they are on the heavier side. So 100 pounds, I guess. But I can just imagine like a box of apricots.
Yeah,
Barrel.
They've got to be probably got to puree it at least. I mean, the apricot skin's
Yeah.
pretty tough, and
Yeah.
How big is a barrel, out of curiosity, for those that don't know?
Well, about 30 gallons, right?
yeah, it's
30
about
to 31.
gallons.
Oh, my
31.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 31 gallons. So 100 pounds per 30 gallons. Woo-wee. I can't wait to taste it.
That's a lot. But, I
I mean,
I
the next-
remember drinking this, and it was just like pure stone fruit,
Yeah.
apricot juice. It was so good.
Yeah, it's like an apricot smoothie, but
Yeah.
but a little on the tart side. So, but the chocolate seems to mellow the tartness down a little bit, and then
Well,
you're
I
ready
did
for
pick
more.
up I got a can of that apricot puree for my next mead. I was going to put in apricot puree and some peach puree and make a, combo apricot peach mead or melomel.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I always know. I mean, when I was a baby, I remember eating Gerber apricot food.
You remember? Wow.
That's a long time ago.
Oh, I remember the day I was born, man.
Did they have electricity
It
then?
was really dark, and it got really bright all of a sudden. Don't you remember that day?
I seem to black that one out.
Somebody hit me. That sounds great, Doug.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would definitely file this under. If you see it, get it. If you haven't, drink it. I think it's great, especially for summertime. I was wishing I had some dark chocolate to go with it because I do prefer dark chocolate, but the milk chocolate works great with it too.
Cool.
Alrighty then. Well, I'm thirsty, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop my beer now. Before I reveal what I'm going to taste with this is a very interesting beer. It's been a while since I had a Tombstone beer in the show, but you all know that's my favorite local brewery. And this one is special, dear to my heart, because I actually helped can this batch of beer at the Tombstone Brewery. So that was a really fun experience. And so without further ado, the beer I'm about to open is the All the People Will Be Checked the Handbag Double IPA. So before I even open it, I got to read this because it's a really funny story about the beer. It says, this hazy, juicy double IPA features the finest El Dorado, Citra, and Amarillo hops. With a name inspired by a government sign that always elicits a laugh every time we pass into Mexico through a particular port of entry, it's an intensely hoppy explosion of tropical and stone fruits with a unique dank and resinous quality. 8.1% ABV. Keep cold, drink fresh. Tombstone Brewing Company, Tough Nut Street in Tombstone, the town that wouldn't die. So let's pop this bad boy over. All the people will be checked the handbag, so when you go to Mexico, beware. All the people will be checked the handbag. So I'm pouring this beer in. One of the great things about volunteering to help can a batch of beer is you get to go home with some of that beer.
I thought you got to drink it while you're canning.
Oh, we did that too. There's always, sometimes the lid doesn't go on all the way or not at all, and they just hand it over to you like, well, there's another reject. Drink it up.
Oh, darn.
And
so,
don't spill.
and then always the first couple cases, sometimes they don't fill all the way, so they set those aside. Those are the take-homers. But some of them are, a little light, but it doesn't bother me any. I drink them all. So, okay, this beer is a really wonderful-looking beer. Nice finger and a half, snow white head on it. It's got that nice golden hazy color. Just really, the aromas on this thing are off the charts. That stone fruits, apricot, mango, pineapple, all that. So, taking my sip, and all those flavors are prevalent. I've had a few of these over the last couple weeks after doing the batch. So, but what I wanted to pair with this, I had kind of limited options. I was in a hurry today and kind of forgot about our episode, but I'm a few hours behind you guys, so it's dinner time here. So I decided, well, what would be good with that Tombstone Double IPA, and I thought, chicken wings. I like my wings spicy, and one of my favorite wings at Buffalo Wild Wings is the Desert Heat, the dry rub, and then I get a little bit of mango habanero on the side to get a little extra kick there. So I thought, man, there's that nice mango flavor that'll kind of commingle with, the habanero, the mango habanero sauce, and the wings. So I had just before it was my turn, I ate a couple of the wings, so my mouth is stimulated from the fire of the mango habanero. So plus the Desert Heat. I mean, they're both pretty hot seasoning. So little heat going on. I'm going to take another bite of my wings. Now, the great thing about Buffalo Wild Wings is they always taste the same everywhere. Those are my favorite wings. I always get them a little extra crispy. They're prepared perfectly. Nice heat on that. So I got a little bit of a bee stinging sensation in my mouth. Forgive me, my wife would kill me if she knew I was talking with food in my mouth. So now I will take a sip of the beer and describe how it complements the food. So the sweetness and the that tropical fruit flavor cuts the heat a little bit. Nice bitterness that cuts that heat and kind of makes it go away for a little bit, and then gradually the heat comes back, and it really does balance it out nicely. Where it's like, I always say, like a concert where it's not like two flavors battling each other; they kind of meld. But two things I really enjoy are these Desert Heat wings with the mango habanero sauce and this lovely Tombstone Double IPA. So remember, when you go to Mexico, all the people will be checking the handbag. And if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, get these hot wings and order any IPA. Great things about chicken wings is, nothing, other than maybe pizza, nothing goes better with a beer than chicken wings. I'm sure, in a perfect world, I probably could have made my own and had a little bit more of a story to tell. But, why mess with a good thing? I always have loved this flavor from B-Dubs. So I don't know. Go around to the other beer nuts. Do you guys have any wing recipes that you prepare, or you enjoy a certain flavor at B-Dubs?
I actually just went to a new wing place here at Detroit Wing Company, and I just had their traditional wing sauce, much like they do in Buffalo, but with copious amounts of butter, and it was absolutely delicious. And I could see myself drinking a nice, crisp IPA to go with it. So a really hoppy beer, I should say. So it was a great place to go to. I would recommend anybody in the area doing it. So
that's my preference with IPA is also, or my preference with wings is also an IPA, and I'm really more of a traditional Buffalo sauce, Frank's hot sauce kind of guy when it comes to wings. But I've done them in the smoker, and I've also cooked them and fried them and done them all sorts of ways. So they come out pretty good no matter what you do to them, as long as you kind of render off some of the fat. And I always found that the smaller wings have less fat and they eat better. So just my tips on cooking them.
Well, that's one of the reasons I always like to get extra crispy. I always have B-Dubs prepare mine, cook them a little longer, and it cooks any of that. I don't like to get that gristly fat if they're not cooked all the way. But these are prepared perfectly, nice and crisp on the outside and tender on the inside.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
So what I wanted to do before we move on to a couple more beers is I wanted to give just a little bit of quick. I found an article here with some quick and dirty pairing tips. I got to give some props to tasteofhome.com for this article, but I have had a little bit of education in pairing from the lovely Annette May, Advanced Cicerone, who I used to work with at Schoolcraft College in the brewing program. And she taught me very simply, if you could just think one thing about food and beer pairing is to match intensities of flavors. So if you have a big, rich imperial stout, you got to have a big, intense flavor, whatever it may be, to complement that, as an example. But here's some other just very basic tips. And so pair lighter beers, go with lighter dishes. So like you have like a real nice light wit beer or a lager. maybe that would be good for like a salads or even citrus fruit or something like that. Another tip here: the hoppier beer is, the better match it is for rich foods, because it does cut the bitterness cuts the richness of the food. Look for complementary flavors: citrus with citrus, sweet with sweet, spice with spice, etc. So kind of like I'm putting the mango of the mango habanero and the mango in the beer. That would be a good example of complementary flavors. Or on the opposite end of that spectrum, you could try contrasts. One example is salty and sweet. So you could get a Gose with something sweet, like a dessert. And that would be another one. So another popular one is Pilsners. Pilsner is ultra versatile.
Sausages.
Fantastic with anything from like a spicy Thai or Mexican meal to a sushi. And when you go to stouts, stouts are usually bold beers. Again, the intensity thing. Really good with meats. Nice gamey like lamb, steaks. So that's another great pairing. And then the last thing it mentions here is for hop lovers. Citrus, pine, and floral aromas with the bitterness. A good pairing with that is maybe bratwurst with a side of spicy mustard, or burgers are good with IPA, or curry or dessert. So again, something spicy, or smoked meats, brats, stuff like that would be good with IPAs. And before I just even go any further with this, there's no right or wrong with pairings. A lot of snobs will try to say, this has to be paired with this. This even goes true with wine. When I used to sell wine, they used to say, red wine with spaghetti. Well, if you like white wine with spaghetti, and drink white wine with your spaghetti. It's whatever you enjoy. There's no right or wrong here. So if somebody wants to give you a test on how to pair food and beers, there's really no right or wrong answer. Even on the Cicerone exam, all you really have to do is justify why you're pairing them and why you think it works, and you'll be right. So it's like we always say on the show, there's no right or wrong. Whatever you like is fine with us. So, the other examples, wheat beers, good with roasted chicken, seafood, fruit. Fruit beers are great with, pork, kind of like the old, pork and applesauce. So you could drink like a cherry lambic, like a creek, or, maybe one of those apricot beers with pork. It was a good pairing, sweet and sour pork. Here's just a quick, as I wrap this up, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but amber ale is malty with a medium caramel flavor, perfect for pairing with barbecue. Saisons are spicy, fruity, and well-balanced, perfect with poultry, fish, or salads. Smoked beer, anything with grilled or smoked, of course. Bach, malt, toast, mild caramel, full body. Drink this with sausages, pork chops, or a nice steak. Kolsch, nice and light, fruit, bed, and citrus, similar to Pilsner. Sausages, fried foods, mushrooms, etc. And Gose, sour, citrus, slightly salty. Goes great with fatty meats like pork belly, ceviche, anything with a hint of sweetness, because that saltiness will complement that. So there's just a few ideas, but again, I would just say, whatever you enjoy, go for it. There's no right or wrong here. It's, we've all, a lot of us, enjoy cooking out on the grill and stuff. And if you have a beer that you particularly enjoy with what you're grilling out, perfectly fine. There's no set guideline that's going to say, you can't have that with that. You can have a bacon cheeseburger with that Gose, because if that's what you like, it's fine. All right, I'll step off my soapbox off here, and if anybody doesn't have anything to add on that, we're going to go back to Uncle Pete.
Yeah, I read that article, JR. That was a good one, and there was another part of it had a table, kind of a cross-reference table with suggestions, and I appreciate that they do just make suggestions because, as you said, it's really personal preference. In my case, I tend to add, some kind of hot pepper and capsaicin spice to most of my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, unless I'm having a smoothie for breakfast. But, I try to put a lot of spicy stuff, and so when I pair it with beers, I tend to go with the IPAs to cut right into that spicy, hot stuff. even at Mexican restaurants, if they got an IPA, that's what I'm having. So,
Well, the chart I think you may be referring to, and maybe it's a different one, but there is one that's put out by the Brewers Association. So you can go on and Google Brewers Association. It says a brief beer and food matching chart, and it's a one-pager. You can print it out. And then there is a second page where it says match strength with strength, find harmonies. I didn't mention also there are some classic pairings. One comes to mind is stout and oysters, which may not on the surface make sense, but it's historically throughout history that's been a classic pairing over in Ireland and in the UK. So anyway, so that's where you can find that, brewersassociation.org.
Cool.
Good to know.
Yeah, there's lots of info out there. Okay. All right, I guess I'll go ahead if it's okay.
It's your turn.
I've been on this diet this year, and I haven't had a single potato chip. However, I'm a snackaholic. I got to have snacks, so I tend to keep, whole mixed nuts on hand, and the spicier the better. And so what I end up doing is I'll buy a whole variety of different nuts that have, hot and spicy mix or wasabi or whatever it is, something that's got kick. Yeah. And then I tend to mix all that stuff together. And I only have a handful, maybe two handfuls of that a day, usually in the evening. I'm watching the news or whatever. And I like to pair that with an IPA. And so today my selection is Founders Centennial IPA, which has a nice kick to it. I mean, it's a great value for one thing. This, 15 pack you can get for right around $15, $16, $17, 7.2% ABV and 65 IBU. So it's a nice bitter beer, straight up Centennial, aromatic pine, citrus, and floral aromas. And to me, I mean, this is one of my regular quaffers that I keep in the cooler at all times, as well as many others. But as far as the cheap IPAs go, as far as the pocketbook, this is one of my favorites. So anyways, I've been snacking on a few of these hot and spicy nuts. I got almonds, I've got pecans, peanuts, pistachio, there's cashew in there. Let's see, I even see some soy nuts in there. But anyway, they're hot, and so they're hot on the tongue. And the flavor of those really lasts a while because it's just like eating peanut butter. When you eat nuts, the flavor just kind of coats your mouth. And of course, then you're trying to pick out, bits and pieces of nuts from your teeth for a while. And so to wash that down with a Centennial like this, I mean, it's like to me, it's like pizza and beer or popcorn and beer. Just a snack and a beer. For me, this is just a classic combo. Instead of potato chips, instead of Doritos and all that kind of stuff, I think nuts are a better choice, even though I like them with all this stuff on them, the hot stuff. There's got to be a lot of salt, which can't be that great for you, but I try to be in moderation, so only, up to about 2 handfuls a day. But yeah, I like it. I mean, the IPA takes over after I've swallowed and washed down. I've had a whole variety of the nuts here already, and the heat was starting to kick in, and now I've got this bitter, drying hoppiness in there that just kind of counteracted all that. So both pleasurable flavors, and I thought they paired well together.
Yeah, it's almost a shame none of us got the real beer nuts to pair with one of these beers, because we are beer nuts.
Ha ha ha.
Very true, very true.
I like those beer nuts. They got like sweet and salt at the same time, and they they definitely keep your thirst up, keep you going back for more beer. Not that we need any more coercion than we already have, but
coercion? I go willingly.
Amen. All right, well, that is a good one, and I also am a big fan of nuts. Not a big chip guy, but I do enjoy the salty snacks I think they're great with beer. Popcorn's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Pretzels, yep. And those are great beer drinking snacks, and that's why a lot of bars have those out. Because the salty stuff makes you thirsty, and you buy more beer, and everybody's a winner.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, I keep on hand get them at Trader Joe's, and their cashews, and their chili lime cashews.
I love
man, there's nothing better goes better with an IPA than a big ass double IPA than those Trader Joe's chili lime cashews. If you ever get a chance, pick up a bag. I mean, they're awesome.
I think they sell that chili lime seasoning as a separate as well, so you can put that on just about anything from corn on the cob to popcorn to you name it, and it is fantastic.
Oh, corn on the cob? Holy smokes, that sounds really good.
Right? It is good.
Yep.
Well, a little shout out to Pete's nephew, Mike Robillard, Rippenclaw, because if he were here, I would be begging him for some El Ligero, that lovely lager flavored with lime, Mexican lager with lime. Wouldn't that be great with tacos or Mexican food?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, I really miss that beer. I found one beer here close to it. It's from Uinta Brewery out of Utah, and they make a lime pilsner that's somewhat similar. But El Ligero is still my favorite. I really, truly miss that beer.
Will be your Huckleberry, John.
Well, Mike knows that I've always embraced his claim that it's the beer of summer, because it was always my favorite in the hot weather.
In Arizona, it's summer just about all year round, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that.
What I like about that particular beer is the lime is not overdone. I've had a few of those lime lagers where the lime was just way too much. You would never put that much into a beer. Why would you want it coming right out of the can? It's one thing to have a lime goza, but even still, I mean, a little bit of lime can go a very long way. And that beer, they just have the right amount in there. It's done well.
I agree. I really enjoyed that beer, and I really miss it.
Well, I'll tell you one lime beer that I just had, and I had it a few times, but just most recently at the Beer Fest, they had the Founders Mas Agave, which, I mean, the thing tastes like a margarita beer. I mean, it just tastes like a margarita. But I actually asked the guy, I said, I had my cup. I go, well, do you have any ice back there? He loaded up my cup with ice and poured the Mas Agave over ice, and I swear, if I closed my eyes, I thought, I got a margarita. This thing is over the top with lime.
And what about that icy pop that you had of cherry and lime? Wasn't there one that you had that from?
That was
Brew Detroit.
Yeah, the Yum Town or Yum Yum. It was a Yum Yum freeze pop.
Oh.
And what he told me they made those by taking the beer and they had to flatten the beer before they could slush it up.
Right.
So apparently the carbonation was causing problems with its ability to stay in a slushy frozen form. So they flattened it and then they froze them. But that was very good, very lime freeze pop beer.
Sounds perfect on a day like that day for sure.
It was. And I got to admit, I'm sorry to go on a tangent, guys, but I just kegged a raspberry lemon hard seltzer water that I made. I did 1 gallon vodka, 80 proof, with 4 gallons reverse osmosis filtered water, and 2 pints of raspberries that I muddled on the stove, and a whole lemon that I zested and then diced very finely, and I hung all that fruit in a muslin bag inside the keg with a dental floss. JR told me that. He gave me that trick. And so it's like dry fruiting, not dry hopping, but dry fruiting in there. And I got under 30 pounds of PSI for a couple of days, and it's started to pour today. And I'm telling you, it's a kicker.
Nice.
Starting to compete with that White Claw now, aren't you?
Yeah.
We can go off a little bit on our brew projects here. I'm in the middle of a dry hop. What was supposed to be a double IPA got a little aggressive and turned to a triple IPA.
Whoa!
And it's going to be in that 12 to 13% range.
Hello.
So
Hate when that happens.
Yeah. I upped the hop level in it. It's a lot of really juicy hops, so this should turn out very interesting. I mean, I did use some bittering hops in it, but the majority of everything I did was pretty juicy, some New Zealand, some Simcoe cryo hops, some Lagunier cryo hops, just a few things I haven't mixed together before. So I'm anxious to try this one out. It's got a few more days in dry hop, and then I'm probably going to let it rest for another week. Just give it a diacetyl rest before I switch it out and keg it and try to clear it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Party at Doug's house in a
Sounds
few
great.
weeks. All right.
Yeah.
Pete's bringing the hard seltzer.
Just in time. When's the Dream Cruise?
It's in 2 weeks from this weekend.
Oh.
And that is also the Michigan Homebrew Festival weekend.
Oh, you go camping at Agawam.
Yeah, I don't camp for it, but I just go there. I'll go up there for Saturday, and the homebrew, the beer awards for the Michigan Beer Cup are that day, and I've got quite a few beers entered into that. So, looking forward to heading over there, have some great homebrew. It's always a good time. It's such a cool event.
Cool, man.
And don't you have some beers in that competition that you've been notified that you have some some honors coming for those?
That is in the Michigan State Fair.
Different. Okay.
Yeah, that's a different competition. So
when will you find out on those?
Those I will find out at the end of the month.
All right.
End of August, that is when the awards are for those. I will find out if anything I've gotten into Michigan Beer Cup has done anything in about a week. I'll probably find out.
Well, keep on brewing, man.
Yes, sir.
Wish I still lived there to be able to enjoy those, but I'll be back at some point. We're going to have to, we've already talked about maybe getting some kind of a get-together at the Great American Beer Festival or Dark Lord Day. One of these days we'll all get together again at a neutral site for a big beer event. In the meantime, every other week or every week, we'll just do this. It's just like a mini beer festival.
Sounds like a winner.
Amen. All right, Greg, I think you have the grand finale of the evening. So,
oh, boy. And what a firework this thing is going to be for a grand finale. So, my final beer is from Aslan Brewing Company out of Herndon, Virginia. I believe that's correct. Yep. This is their Mexican hot chocolate imperial stout, and it has vanilla. Besides chocolate, it has vanilla, nutmeg, cinnamon, and peppers. And this comes in at an easy drinking of 15% in a nice 16-ounce can. Absolutely gorgeous. So poured dark as could be in the glass, has a little bit of legs onto it, grabbing the glass there. Head did not retain very long because for a 15%er, why would it? And I'm pairing this with a little small bar of chocolate I had and a cinnamon pecan I had. So see how well, I'm sure it will pair perfectly well together, but we'll try it anyway. So on the smell of this beer, I mean, oh my God, it's milk chocolate. It's you get that vanilla sweetness, you get that cinnamon. Oh my God, this smells ridiculously good. So let me get a good taste out of this. I mean, that's smooth. This is like the second Aslan beer I've had that's this high of ABV that drinks this absolutely ridiculously smooth. Gotta get more of that chocolate and cinnamon. It's just the full mouthfeel rather to it. Just coats that mouth really, really nicely. And let me pop in my chocolate and pecan here. I mean, it's a continuation of the beer itself. It's perfect. I had also considered like a cinnamon and graham chocolate marshmallow, like a s'mores compared with the swell. Figured that would be great. But what I just did was fantastic as well. This is, if anybody ever gets a chance to get a hold of Aslan, their stouts do not disappoint. I've had, like I said, this is their second one I've had. This is absolutely gorgeous.
All I have to say is I have to agree with you, man. I've been to Aslan a couple times. My uncle lives like 2 miles from the brewery. Unbelievably, I remember I went there just randomly one time when I was back in D.C. I lived there for 17 years. Got a lot of roots there. Got my uncle there, and was back for a visit. And, well, let's see what all the hype's about. My hotel that I was staying at was walking distance to Aslan, and I found this beer that I could. At that time, I got in a crowler. It was called Cocoa Maypalm. It's to this day the best non-barrel aged stout I've ever had. So, everything they brew to perfection. This beer sounds like even a step above that with all the, the extra ingredients.
And I'm a sucker for Mexican hot chocolate in general. So when it's put into a beer like this, I mean, I'm just giddy as could be.
Okay.
And everything just pairs well. And this is really good with that little piece of chocolate and pecan I just had. I mean, a perfect ending for my night, dessert-wise. So definitely, kudos to Aslan for that. That was great beer.
Cocoa Maypalm, as you can probably tell, had cocoa and maple in it. And I was like, man, I could pour this over my pancakes.
I feel the same way with this.
I really could.
Vanilla ice cream for me.
It was almost a life-changing. And I stumbled upon it. It was just random. Happened to be there when I was there, and I got a crowler of this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. So one bit of news about Aslan: they just opened a tap room in Alexandria. The brewery's in Herndon, which is near Dulles Airport, and the D.C. area. But Alexandria was closer to where I lived when I was there. This thing just opened, I think, like a week ago, and the reviews are great. So it's great that they're expanding and making more good Aslan beer available to more people. I know it used to be you had to wait in line and it was really hard to get. So great success story there in Northern Virginia, Aslan Brewing, and thanks for sharing that one, Greg. Man,
my pleasure.
All right,
I'll sleep well tonight for sure.
Well, there you have it. Some great food, some great beers, and we've all, I think, everybody that's enjoyed a good beer has always had favorite beer and food matchups. And maybe later down the road we'll do one that's all about what you grill on your grill and the beer that you like to have with it. Because I know I can't be in front of my grill without a cold one out there, and sometimes like if the flames fire up, I just pour a little beer on it. But yeah, there's nothing like grilling with a beer, so maybe that's a future episode. But these were some great choices and some great beers, so I enjoyed it. So any of you guys have any final comments? Any tipster news? Other than I
haven't seen anything lately.
All right, well then I guess pretty much it's time to head to Mexico City. So thanks for joining us again. Find us on Twitter at Beer Nuts Podcast, Instagram Beer Nuts Podcast, and at Facebook we have a Beer Nuts Podcast Facebook page. So find us there. So we look forward to our next episode, and as they say in old Mexico City, AMF.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.